So, guys and everybody, let's welcome Morgan back here again, once again. Today, due to popular demand, let's say,
Thank you.
going to speak to us about two new products that I've brought into the clinic from the company Kind Health. The reason I've brought these on board is the reaction to the products I already have, like the vitamin C and the curcumin and the CBD oil, has been nothing short of phenomenal. Thank you, Morgan. It's really, the results and the feedback from clients has been fantastic. So I'm really excited to bring on new products, and the two new products we have that I hope you're going to talk to us about is Sulforaphane and milk thistle. So I'm not going to pretend to know anything about them. I'm going to leave it with you. My experience of milk thistle was over the years, many years ago, when I used to living in Dublin. We tend to drink a lot when we're younger. And
yeah, fair enough. South Africa, we do too.
Yeah, we used to bring milk thistle to the bar and have it in our pocket.
You started at a young age. Good.
So I know there's massive health benefits. So
yeah.
let's hand that over to you, and you can fill us in on all that. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, Mark. And hello, listeners. Yes, we're going to talk about milk thistle. First of all, oh man, this stuff has been around forever. Like you said, I remember seeing milk thistle as a kid growing up with my dad. He always had milk thistle. He used to go to the pub and he used to have always milk thistle on his counter in his room. And I always thought the stuff was associated with with drinking a lot. So
yeah,
but just because it's got one thing to do, and that's really look after the liver. So, like our company, we take extracts that might have been around for a very long time, and we actually put them in their best format, and we really try to offer what milk thistle's got to offer, and that's giving you a full potent, long activated, absorbing, high bioavailability milk thistle product. So we'll cover milk thistle, and then we'll cover sulforaphane, which is broccoli sprouts. So broccoli sprouts has really been a buzzword for really recent, for about 2 years, but it's been in sort of circulation with study groups and research for probably the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's all got to do with nutrigenomics, and that's how plants communicate with our DNA. And it's the way that it has been for us millennials, forever. Yeah. So and a very, very, very interesting product. And we're gonna dive into them.
Yeah, I was going to say, I heard about it through Joe Rogan and Dr. Rhonda Patrick. You see her with her bags of broccoli sprouts, and she's telling us all to use them. So.
Everyone, I think that hears this buzzword broccoli sprouts goes out and they start getting interested in microgreen farming and just producing all these sprouts. But the magic actually happens in the digestion of the sprout, and it happens within the gut. You need certain parts of this recipe to really give you the active ingredient, which is sulforaphane. Okay. And so let's dive straight into sulforaphane.
Yeah, please do.
Always as a kid growing up, I always used to hate broccoli because it really had a stinky taste and a stinky smell. Mm-hmm. And that's because of the sulfur. Generally in broccoli, the sulfur smell is what gives broccoli its claim to fame. And that's actually a really good thing, because if you think about sulfur in our bodies, modulating amounts of sulfur, it really does expel and facilitate us getting rid of all the stinky stuff. Okay. It really helps with our liver, with detoxing heavy metals and things that the body can't metabolize properly just by eating a correct diet. We need sometimes things to pack a bit of a harder punch when it comes to detoxing and when it comes to protecting our cells. So sulforaphane is a very, very interesting compound. First of all, we bring it in from Australia, but the sprouts are grown in Italy. So it does some serious traveling.
Yeah.
It's a very, very unstable molecule. It is very multifunctional. It does three very impressive things. That's why I call it the three-legged stool. First of all, it's grown from broccoli sprouts. So if you're someone that is eating broccoli, for dinner or for lunch, and you're steaming it for more than 2 minutes, you're probably not going to get any sulforaphane out of it, but you're still going to get some really good antioxidants and some good fiber and some magnesium, but you're not going to get the sulforaphane. So a lot of the time, I think people get, confused with broccoli and sulforaphane and other cruciferous vegetables. The sprouts itself do produce sulforaphane in the sprout form. But like I said, it's a very unstable molecule. So when you're producing it and you're eating it, by the time you've sort of chewed it and it's gone down to the stomach, a lot of the actives are lost. And sulforaphane comes out of the cell walls of broccoli sprout. So you've got two little properties to broccoli sprout, two chemicals or two enzymes, and they're called myrosinase and glucoraphanin. And these are two little elements within a broccoli sprout, within the cell wall of a digested broccoli sprout. The moment that those two get digested in the gut, now you've got myrosinase activity that happens in the gut, this bacterial activity. The moment those two come together and they get metabolized in the gut, you get a sulfur that gets produced called sulforaphane.
Okay.
So it all happens in the intestine, and it all happens within the gut. So if you've got a very, very bad gut and you're not methylating properly and digesting properly, you'd probably need to use sulforaphane in this format, because we're giving you the both elements. Sometimes people that don't have good gut health, they're not going to have the myrosinase activity, and therefore they're not going to get the full benefit of sulforaphane. But with a product like this, you will, because you've got both elements.
Do you have them both in the product? Yeah.
In the product, yeah.
Okay.
So you need those two. So Mark, a lot of the time I've seen, and this is why I'm very proud to give, Ireland sulforaphane and the UK and really get it out to market, because I haven't seen a sulforaphane product like this besides one or two, which I can't find anymore. Sometimes you get companies that just sell broccoli powder, or they just say broccoli sprout powder, but they're missing those two little words that we've just spoken about, the myrosinase and the glucoraphanin.
Okay.
If they don't have those two and they don't say how much sulforaphane it is yielding, it's got to yield the sulforaphane with those two elements meeting, you're probably just getting a very good super green powder. You're just getting a superfoods powder. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how we get there, right? So it's grown in Italy, it gets produced in Australia, and this is how we get sulforaphane. So what sulforaphane actually does, it's incredible. It's the only, now when you talk about nutrigenomics and epigenetics, now that's quite a new term for a lot of practitioners.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that around, yeah.
Now, the very cool thing about the 21st century and this line of work is that we can now go out to a DNA testing, facility, swab our mouth, get it sent away, and see what type of genetic deposition or SNPs that we might face in the future.
Okay.
Or, we are not our, we are not to the fate of our genetic, but to our DNA, but our genes pretty much, if you can get them tested and see what you might be aligned with upstream with regards to condition or disease or any type of malfunction, it's quite nice to get your DNA tested, because once you've got this blueprint, it generally doesn't change. Okay. So what sulforaphane does is it's a very, very interesting little molecule. It's a protein it's a protein sort of switch. And what it does is it gets into the cell and it lines up next to your DNA, and it just kicks out coding for repair and function and protection from a cellular level. And that's what NRF2 stands for. So sulforaphane activates this little protein called NRF2, and this little guy is all about, from a DNA point of view, protecting the cell within.
Okay.
So it's constantly protecting the cell within, which is very powerful, because usually we would need to take a lot of gene expression material to make this happen. But sulforaphane wakes up probably about 200 different genes on just defense. Really intelligent, right? Then what else it does is it upregulates other antioxidants. Very strong upregulator of glutathione. Really strong upregulator of SOD, which is a superoxide. This is stronger than glutathione on an antioxidant point of view from within the body, within the cell. And then it helps facilitate phase 1 detox. So in your liver, you've got two phases. You've got the phase 1, which your liver, it's got this most wanted list, and it pulls out all the bad guys. It's got this list for all the fat soluble metabolites and the gunk, the alcohol, the medication, the food, the fats, all the shit, excuse my French. And it's got to turn these bad guys into water soluble factors, so our bodies can pass out all the stuff that we're building up throughout our liver. Remember, our liver's got to process a lot of rubbish throughout our bodies. So what happens is when your liver is converting these very bad elements, it's almost like glass. What it does is it breaks it down into glass. When it gets into phase 2, sometimes glass is more dangerous than the glass itself because now it's jagged, it's edgy, and that creates a lot of dangerous effects, even worse than the actual substance itself that you've put in. So sulforaphane really helps facilitate this process of detoxification in the liver to actually get you rid of all these heavy metals, these carcinogens, all the gunk. But it's a very, very powerful liver functioning tool when it comes to detox. So what you're doing now is you're protecting the cells from a cellular point of view. You're upregulating all these antioxidants, and you're helping get rid of all the crap that our bodies burn and endure throughout life. So it's a powerful little trio. And I mean, can you imagine turning on bad genes, turning on good genes, and constantly modulating this? What you're going to do then is you're going to start treating conditions from upstream. So if you're someone that's a type 1 diabetic, or you're asthmatic, or you've got something that is hereditary, you can treat that condition from a lot higher up because you're treating it from a DNA point of view, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and it's completely safe to take. It's broccoli sprout, but there's got to be these elements to this broccoli sprout to really give you these effects. And what that does is it really protects your body on a cellular level by just letting them do the hard work themselves. And that's what our bodies are designed to do. Our bodies produce the best antioxidants that any other supplement has got on this planet Earth. The part is to get them to do their job because they're under so much other attack constantly. You want to sort of give them the right tools or the right information or the right nutrients to make them do this job from within.
Okay.
Very clever. And it's amazing stuff. And it works incredibly well with colon effects. I mean, I just saw research that came out a couple of months ago that it's a very weird pathway that sulforaphane works within the colon. And it actually, it's got to do with it's called the sonic hedgehog pathway, which is a weird name, but it's all got to do with colon cancer. It's all got to do with intestinal disease. So things like also H. pylori, all these type of bacterial overgrowth in the gut and things like that. Sulforaphane's incredible. It gets all the stinky stuff out. Like I said, it facilitates all this overgrowth bacteria. And once your gut is clean without all this stuff going on, you can start metabolizing your receptors with immune health, because a lot of it's in the stomach, right? 80% of the immune is metabolized in the gut. So correct your gut, your pH in the gut with these little critters that want to overgrow, protect the liver, and you activating gene control. So, you know, that effect has got, I mean, if you think about it, upregulating glutathione is incredible, because we've now seen with research that nearly every disease, chronic disease, has got a lot of things in common, but the one major thing is glutathione deficiency.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So, so in the brain. So,
So, you know, as you speak there's so many questions in my head, but, you know, I understand what you're saying in the sense of getting the gut healthy. Because there's so much new information as well coming out, especially brain health, where they're saying it's all starting in the gut. But then with all the other big illnesses, it's quite obvious that they're all starting in the gut as well. So people obviously are coming to us at the clinic, and for instance, I got a message from a friend last night saying he's just been diagnosed with one of the big ones of the gut. This guy will come back to me in a moment. Crohn's disease. Now,
just in the gut.
So obviously we have people come and saying, I have this problem. So what you're saying there is that, you know, ahead of the problems being diagnosed, this is a really good thing to take for gut and liver health. But
completely.
Yeah. When the person, for instance, this guy who called me last night, he's now has a problem. Will the likes of sulforaphane help to pull it back? Yeah. Obviously, he has to address what caused the damage as well.
Completely. Now remember, Mark, in your gut, you've got all these inflammatory markers that are going crazy, right? So you've got these switches that are controlling all your inflammatory. You've got gene expressions that are controlling your inflammatory markers. So that's your switch, that your master switch for inflammation. It's called NF-kappa B. you've got now sulforaphane that will turn off that gene producing too much inflammatory markers, and it's going to facilitate the gut as well as the liver.
Yeah.
So someone with Crohn's, I would say biocurcumin and something like sulforaphane, and it opens up in the gut first. So the response to things like curcumin or sulforaphane with someone with Crohn's is very positive, because the substance is opening up. Its first line of call that it reaches is the gut. It's the intestine, right? So completely for Crohn's disease, I mean, yeah, I've just seen such phenomenal things with biocurcumin before we even had sulforaphane. So I can only imagine the two of those guys. Just, oh my word.
Yeah, that's what I was going to recommend, the biocurcumin and the cannabis oil, the CBD oil. So now you're talking about this, it's great. I didn't know, I've heard about sulforaphane, but I hadn't really. I listen to Dr. Rhonda Patrick all the time, but she just throws so much information that it's gone in there, but it can't recycle it, you know.
I mean, Mark, if you think about sulforaphane, it's quite an out there concept when you start speaking about DNA expressions and epigenetics and all these things. But it honestly makes sense to me that you've got this little switch that modulates the way that cells protect themselves, because that's what our body was developed to do. But we're just putting so much stuff in for it to fight against itself that we're not really. Our cells are running out of the capability, to clean up after us. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Powerful. Yeah, just really powerful stuff. And I mean, I recommend people try it out. You might have a bit of an effect of a bit of a nauseating feeling for the first, 2 or 3 days, because it induces detoxification like nothing else, because it's getting where it needs to be. But after you've gone through that, take it on an empty stomach, 1 or 2 a day, depending what you're treating. Yeah. But completely, it's so good to know that you're taking care of these things from way up the supply of the supply of command.
And would you stay in it long term, or how would you work with it? So it sounds like it's something that'd be good to take every day.
I take 10 milligrams every day, and sometimes 20, and that's generally just a very maintainable dose, just for good health and well-being. It keeps my gut really good, and I can honestly feel it's, I know when my glutathione intake has been increased, just because weird things like my skin would clear up, or I might be able to exercise a little bit longer, or like complete amino acid type of profile things. But people don't need to stay on it. If you are wanting to, I always think it's great to go on products like this, even if you aren't, have an autoimmune or you've got some chronic disease. Go on things like this just to really give the cells a break. So, Christmas time, milk thistle, great, because you're going to indulge, give your liver a break. Sulforaphane, I would take also maybe, at the end of the year, or, just every now and then. But if you're someone that's on it chronically, I wouldn't stay on it forever. I would monitor, but you can stay on it for long periods of time. That's the purpose of these products.
So there's no harm.
Stay on it
Okay. So it sounds like, the little I know about milk thistle, it sounds like I've just taken in 2 products and perfect timing for Christmas, because they're good for the liver.
Perfect.
So what's going on with the milk thistle? So if you're finished with the sulforaphane.
Yeah, cool. So that's sulforaphane, guys. And so, the experience that I've had really well with sulforaphane would be things like Crohn's disease, H. pylori, bacterial overgrowths, type 1 diabetes, asthma, all these like sort of hereditary upper respiratory conditions. They work really well. And it's easy to take.
I was speaking to someone recently about autism and sulfur as a treatment. So have you had any experience? So
I haven't looked too deep into it, but just the research that I have come across, and that, the things that I've heard with regards to experience-wise would be glutathione levels with autistic kids are generally really low. And especially if they're not methylating properly and their guts aren't responding well properly, their liver's not going to be able to facilitate this powerful amino acid. So I've seen low amounts of glutathione, and you can imagine with an autistic person, they would, in my mind, if you're protecting it from protecting the condition of cognition or just detoxification or all these things, I would want to take sulforaphane. It's really protecting. It's protecting me from a cellular level, so my body can, you know, facilitate the rest.
Okay.
So autism, I think it would be positive. I haven't had that much research, but I do know glutathione levels and methylation with autistic individuals are really important. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay. So
Thistle.
Thistle, yeah. Well, I get some whiskey.
Yeah, get some whiskey. Have one of these. So I'll tell you, Mark, I mean, this is just a funny story before we get onto it. I mean, I've worked with, well, not worked. I've been familiar with milk thistle before I even got into healthcare. It's just something that's been around for cheapers. Milk thistle's been around since biblical days. I mean, it has been around for ages. I mean, honestly, it's one of the oldest. It's the oldest Mediterranean herb, I think out of all of them. So
yeah.
The way that I had experienced it though is I don't respond too well to sometimes, you know, tannins in red wine, or sometimes coffee, you know, just the heavy, especially the commercial stuff. You know, if you're not buying something that's produced properly, all the tannins and all the heavy, you know, sort of the heavy binding material really makes you feel bad the next day.
Yeah.
And after taking this, it was almost like it was metabolizing all of these things that would make me feel junk. And I've never, ever felt so fresh after a couple of glasses of wine the previous night, or too much coffee in the day. And then I thought, wow, you know, this product must be powerful if it's protecting my liver from metabolizing all these heavy, hard-hitting, you know, chemicals. And then I started experiencing more feedback from customers and then from practitioners. And then I thought, wow, this is hepto happiness. Honestly, is the liver loves milk thistle, just for regenerating the liver, for upregulating as well, things like glutathione, but actually protecting it almost like a barrier from not letting chemicals and alcohol and all these you know, all these poisonous things that our liver's got to process. It almost protects it from it though. So much to the point that I've actually seen nothing else do what milk thistle does. Okay. So yeah, it's a great substance. However, this is the however. Milk thistle up till now has just been, it's just been something that lost popularity, I think, to a certain degree, just because some of it just doesn't work, or some of it doesn't actually have the therapeutic application. So maybe, you know, someone says, I drank 20 beers and, you know, I felt okay. I felt okay the next day, or someone's just taking it as a tonic, you know, just using it as a tonic. This milk thistle that we do really it packs a punch once again with regards to liver. So first of all, with milk thistle, it's a lot like green tea. So green tea is all about catechins, and the sweet spot with catechins is 8, which we do in our green tea. And the sweet spot with milk thistle, first of all, it's got to be produced from the seed, but you've got to use the full, you know, the full spectrum milk thistle. You can't start isolating it and pulling apart pieces. You've got to get a really good organic milk thistle seed. And the thing with milk thistle up till now is that milk thistle are not like hemp and cannabis. They're hyper-accumulating plants. So what that is, if I plant it in soil that's got a lot of agrochemicals or petroleum, they're really good plants to grow in the soil first, because it pulls out all those, it cleans the soil, man. However, where's those chemicals going, right? They're going into the plant. So if I'm going to start milling through milk thistle and I've got all these carcinogens, I'm really going to get a very poisonous product. So that's the first thing, where it's from and how it's made. Then it's got a very low bioavailability rate. It's something like 8%, or sometimes even plants contain as low as 4%. It's really poorly metabolized in the body, and it doesn't withstand its effect for very long. Okay. So this is where we've overcome these challenges. So we've used an organic milk thistle, first of all, but that really packs a punch. So like I was speaking about catechins, milk thistle have got a family of 7 members that you need present in a milk thistle product, and they're called flavonolignin. And I'm sure you've heard of something like silymarin or silibin. Yeah. And these are the active components to milk thistle. However, silibin is the one out of the 7 families that really gives us all this liver protection effect. But all supplements that I've come across have had low silibin amounts of probably 20%, 10%. incredibly low, Mark, so you don't get the full effect. So ours has got a Silymarin effect of 80. So it's incredibly highly concentrated.
Mm.
And then we've wrapped that up in a phospholipid with a liposomal. And now the cool thing about liposomal is that it's got phosphatidylcholine, and that regenerates the liver on its own. So it's like an added benefit, right? So what you're getting now is you're getting a milk thistle product that you need to take one a day of, and it's going to be in the body for, you know, up to 10 hours, 12 hours. And you're going to get a nice high potency, 80% full spectrum liver protecting agent. And if your liver is protected from milk thistle in this format, you can be someone that can enjoy a couple of drinks and not get affected by it, not nearly as much. There's actually been studies about regrowing, regenerating the liver. And remember, your liver can be operating at 90%. That means it can be 90% in deficit, meaning you can be injured. Your liver could be operating on 5%, you won't know. That's how powerful this organ is. You won't know. So to take something like this, you're going to completely protect it from coffee, alcohol. If you're someone that needs to be on medication, you know, you need to take milk thistle just because it really protects the actual enzymes and the sort of the layer around the liver from actual carcinogenic things from actually entering. Then it increases more glutathione in the liver itself, so focus just on liver, so it can get rid of all the bad guys and just have a full antioxidant effect within the liver. And then it promotes turning on genes once again, on kicking out all this coding for regenerating the liver, but from a cellular point of view. And then it's antifibrotic. So a lot of the time when people have got liver disease from too much junk food, too much alcohol, all this stuff, the liver actually builds up scar tissue to protect itself. This is fibrosis. So the milk thistle constantly modulates that and allows the liver to not start causing fibrosis, but by facilitating all the stuff that it needs to deflect and just sort of protect itself from. I think it is so important for people that are living in a day like we are today, and they've got to take the medication, you know, they want to have their coffee and stuff. If you're not protecting your liver, trust me, you're going to have incredible, and remember, this is an organ that you can't play around with. And I know we said it about all of them, but the liver does a lot of work with creating antioxidants, from bringing down your iron levels. We spoke about it last time. Someone that's got hemochromatosis, too much iron stores, milk thistle facilitates on bringing that down. It's like a modulator adaptogen just for liver control. Okay. So, and a product like this is just so effective because you've got this full spectrum organic, one capsule a day, and you're covered. That's it. One capsule a day, and you're covered.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
What can I say? One thing I will say, what I noticed, you asked me, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, the last time we spoke, I went on a program of products from Kind Health, which included sulforaphane and milk thistle. I was also taking B vitamins, vitamin C, and the Biocanna Advanced. And after 3 days, I went to the gym, and holy God, I'm not exaggerating. I'm always skeptical and I'm always testing on me, but
you need to be.
I was like Superman in the gym. I hadn't been doing any cardio because my knee had been troubling me. So I hadn't been doing cardio for about 3 months, and my knee was feeling good. And I got onto a treadmill and I ran for 15 minutes, and I just felt I could keep going here. It was like, what the hell is wrong with me? In the sense of, wow, I didn't even lose breath. I was just like, is this what he's talking about? And it's been good. You know, I ran out of products because you guys, not you, sorry. There was a big delay in the shipment coming in, but to notice the difference when I was on them every single day in the gym, for me, it was just fantastic. I mean, I'm no spring chicken anymore. I'm 59 this month, and it was just, I felt great. I have to say that. And, you know, I've tried to push myself that same way previously, and it's a bit of a struggle, but to get onto that treadmill and train and then go and lift weights and just walk out of the gym feeling so good, it was ridiculous, I have to say. Yeah.
That's
amazing. And I mean, if you're doing that for your liver, of course you're going to get more energy. Of course you're going to feel good, you know. So
Completely, Mark. And you know what? I enjoy working out just as much you do. And I know the products work. That's right, because I have personal experience with them, either having a cup of coffee and knowing that I feel better, or from having a really good workout, recovering well, and knowing your body so much so that you you think, wow, it's this is definitely doing something from a mitochondrial point, like within the body.
But for
And
it to happen, sorry, I'm cutting across you, but for it to happen so fast, within 3 days, it was like, wow.
And that applies to anyone that uses products like this. You don't have to be a gym going person. You could be an elderly woman that just wants to get a few more hours outside the house for a walk. Or a mom that's had a bad pregnancy, that's coming out of extended amounts of putting your body under this hard abuse, which is from being a parenthood. Great product. So it really does aid anyone to live their best lives. But honestly, you're not going to wait around for it. It's going to work quick. And why shouldn't people feel amazing? So this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about.
Great. Okay. Yeah. So what more can you say?
What more can I say? And, Mark, I know we always talk about the range, and there's, we don't do a massive range. We focus on a very small basket of products, but I believe that, that to tick off things like liver, massive amounts of information, look after your DNA expression of what you're telling your body to do, with regards to antioxidants and, putting too much pressure on the immune system and things like that. I think we're covering all the angles. You don't need to be on the entire range, but I think we've got a product for anything that's serious, but also for you to take day to day. So, it's just really exciting.
Okay, well, I'll look forward to the feedback from these ones, and then
please.
I believe Paul has samples of is it the what's that thing they use in Spain all the time as a saffron? Yeah, I believe
you better watch out. I'm going to come steal all of it. I'm coming over to fly and steal all your stock.
Well, I have that to test next, and I'm not sure what the other one he said, so we'll see. We'll be back on soon about those. Yeah.
No, we will be. And I think, Mark, just ending off saffron at the moment, we've been working with saffron for years. We were dealing with a saffron product from France, but we've been dealing with mental depression or mental illness for a very long time in South Africa. And I can tell you now, saffron like this, there's nothing else I've ever come across for mood enhancing, depression, serious stuff. It can be used with medication. It's completely gentle, but it is really the Mufasa of mood enhancing herbs in nature, man. Okay. So we'll talk about that soon.
Yeah.
Get your sample.
Okay. Well, I'll say thanks to you, so
awesome.
Appreciate your time and your knowledge. It's phenomenal. It's great to have these.
Awesome,
chats,
Mark.
So.
Always good catching up.
Okay. Namaste.
Namaste.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark. Keep well.
Okay. Bye.